What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm making a special video about the Foxbody Mustang. In particular, what are my top 5 reasons of why you need to buy one in 2021? These cars are getting more and more rare and the value is just going up and up, and I think now is the time that you need to buy Foxbody. They're great cars and I'm going to give you my top 5 reasons why you need to buy a Foxbody in 2021. Okay, so a little background of actually why I'm making this video, and it's because my friend bought a Ford Bearer from Australia, and so we started looking at Foxbody shells for a project car. And I just found out how expensive they're getting. It's ridiculous. Like, I bought my car in, I don't know, 7 years ago, and it was $3,000, 70,000 miles on it, and it was like in perfect condition. So I'm looking at them now, and you can't find a shell for under $4,000. I mean, without a motor or anything, a rolling chassis is still like $4 to $5 grand. And so I just thought I needed to make a video talking about why you need to get one now, because they're getting more rare and the prices and the values are going way up. So now is the time to get one before it gets worse. And that's really why I'm making this video today. So the prices that I've been seeing, I've been looking at OfferUp, I've been looking at Facebook Marketplace, and all these cars are going for like, I don't know, 7 to 10 grand for a nice one. For a decent one, everybody wants about 7 to 10 grand for these cars, and it's just gonna keep on going up because, I mean, you gotta think about it. Mine's an 86, so that means it's 34 years old, or yeah, it's like 34 years old, which is crazy. And it's just gonna keep getting worse because the more time goes on, the more these cars are gonna get rarer and rarer, and then the prices go up. Look at what happened to the old muscle cars from back in the day. Those cars are like $50,000, $60,000. I mean, it could very well happen to the Foxbody Mustang because these cars are so loved. They're used for so many different things, and overall the Foxbody is just great. I mean, come on. So, I mean, now is the time, while they're still not too expensive out of my price range, anybody, where they're not too overly priced. I think now is the time to get one before they just become absurdly priced, because that's what we're heading into, is just an absurd amount of money to buy a Foxbody Mustang. So price is my number 1 reason why you should get a Foxbody in 2021, but my second reason is because there's so much aftermarket support. So if you're thinking about getting a project car, Foxbody Mustang is probably one of the best choices, because it's just every single part that you could ever want is made for this car. I've had a couple other project cars, and if they're too old or they're not popular or one or the other, you can't find parts for it. And that's just horrible. And then if you do find a part, it's just overly priced. So Foxbody, there's multiple websites. You got Late Model Restoration, American Muscle. There's all these different websites that you just get any and every part you could ever want for the Foxbody. And it's amazing. So if anything goes wrong, you just go to Napa or you go online and boom, you got the part that you need. It's very easy, and that's like another great reason that you need to buy a Foxbody Mustang. All right, and then the third reason. So my third reason, we kind of touched on it a little bit, and it's because of the age of the car. I mean, the last one that was made was in 1993, and that's 27 years old still. So, and then like the oldest one goes all the way back to 79, which would be 41 years old. But that's just wild how old these cars are getting. So that's gonna make finding a chassis without rust extremely hard. It's gonna be finding just one that's in decent shape that hasn't been beat up or messed with or anything harder and harder. So now is definitely the time before it gets even worse. Like I was saying, I was looking at OfferUp, and a shell is expensive, but finding a shell that's in good shape is even harder to find. So it's just, this is the time to buy a Fox, and they're just gonna keep getting older and harder to find. So now is the time before it gets too late to go get a Foxbody Mustang. And the other reason is these cars are getting scrapped in the junkyard. I mean, I used to go to the junkyards, there'd be like 4 or 5 Foxbodies. Now, you're lucky if you see one. So these cars are getting crushed too, and it's just making it worse and making them more and more rare. All right, and so then my 4th reason for why you need to buy a Foxbody Mustang is that these cars can do anything, from drag racing to drifting to autocross to dirt racing for that matter. These cars can do anything. They're set up so well. I do, in my opinion, think these are great drag racing cars. That's why when you jump on 1320 video, you see 10 or 12 of them ripping around. And I mean, they can have any motor in the world, but it's the Fox chassis. The Fox chassis is just a great chassis. Ford did well with a lightweight chassis that can actually hook up. It's just the recipe for it is great, but these cars can do anything. The chassis itself is amazing, but if you want to get into autocross, man, you throw some good Maximum Motorsports parts on the car and you can do autocross. You want to start drifting it? Same thing. Go to Maximum Motorsports, go to American Pony something. I forgot the name of their site. I'll link it. But you go on there, get an angle kit, get IRS swap for the car, and you're drifting, or get a handbrake, whatever you got to do. But they make parts, every kind of part for every kind of application for this car. If you're just getting into cars and you want to find something and you don't know which direction you're going to go with, Foxbody is great, because if you want to go drag racing, go drag racing. Go drifting, you go drifting. And go autocross, you go autocross. You can do whatever you want with the car. And it's a great base model to get, because you're starting with a V8 that is not hard to work on. I've ripped apart these motors. I've done a lot with these motors. I just got done swapping this 1986 Mustang with a brand new stroker motor. I mean, they're super easy to work on. They're fun to work on. You can get a great knowledge of cars working on these things. It's just, Foxbody Mustang is great first car, so you definitely need to get one if you are looking at a first car. And if you're just looking at it for your next project car, same thing. They're easy. There's parts for everything. You want to do any kind of swap. You want to put a Coyote in it. You want to put anything in the car, you can do it. Then there's probably a swap kit for it somewhere online too. So these cars are definitely versatile and something that I would recommend to anybody looking for a new project, or if you're just getting your first project car, I should say. So if you're getting your first car, you want to make sure you find one that runs. Don't just get one that's been beat up. So that's my little tidbit of advice for that. Alright, and so my fifth reason kind of has like two reasons pushed into it. So the first one, and we kind of touched on it, is the easy to get parts, easy to get things, but it's easy to make power too. It's very easy. The 5-liter is an easy engine to work on, and you can make lots of power out of it. Well, you can make 500, and then there's been known to have some problems. So 500 is the safer area, but it's easy to make that 500 if you do it the right way. So there's a couple ways you can do it, and that could be putting a Vortec S-Trim supercharger on the car, make 450. You can put an On3 Performance Turbo on it, you make 450, 500 to the rear wheels. I mean, you can make power in so many different ways with the stock engine, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg to do it like some of these other builds. Or, like I'm saying, you could go wild with it, and you could just go and do a full engine swap and make tons of power. And like I was saying earlier, you do a Coyote. I mean, that's one of the great things about this car is you can go mild to wild. Anything in between works. I mean, you could just have a little car that made 300 wheel horsepower and it can rip it up all day long. Or you can have 1,000 horsepower Foxbody that just does wheelies and runs 9s and 8s in the quarter mile. The car is so versatile, you can do anything with it. But so we already talked about that. But so then the other thing that I want to talk about with this is there's something very, very special about the Foxbody Mustang. And I know everybody that's owned one knows exactly what I'm talking about. These are just great cars. And I guess a good way to illustrate this is, so I have a neighbor up the street and he has a black Foxbody Mustang and he's diehard Chevy. He did not like Fords. He had 69 Camaros, he just, Chevy everything. He has this 5.0 and he started working on it with the stock 5.0 engine, and he just kept doing stuff to it and little things here and there, and now it's his favorite car. He loves it to death. There's something about the Fox chassis that can just convert you. It's just a great car, the way it sounds, the way it drives. There's just so many good things about the car that it's just a great either first car, next project car. It's just such a great chassis, and that's why you see it everywhere on these racing videos and stuff. It's because you could do anything with it, and it's now is the time to buy one before they get too expensive to where you can't get them anymore. So there are deals out there, and you can find a Fox chassis probably for pretty cheap still at this time, but sooner or later, probably sooner rather than later, they're going to be too expensive for, well, they're just going to be so expensive it's not going to be worth it. So that's why I think everybody should be getting their Foxbody in 2021 or as soon as possible. So that is my 5 reasons to get a Foxbody in 2021. Thank you so much for watching the video, making it to the end. If you did make it to the end, please like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Thank you so much. And another thing I want to clip in the video is I am streaming on Twitch. So if you want to ask me anything about cars, anything about my builds, if you want video requests or anything, make sure to drop down that link, and I'll be streaming on Mondays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can ask me anything. I'll be chatting with all of you, and you can get to know me better, and you can throw out some suggestions for videos, questions, anything you want. Also, I have a Discord server if you want to ask me questions there too. So all these links will be in the description. But thanks everybody for hanging out and making it to the end of the video. So on that note, I will catch you guys on the next video. Oh, it's too bright. I messed up.